this one night, it was so weird. My dad and his girlfriend were up visiting us in Oregon, and they were downstairs. That part comes in later of why that's kind of interesting. Me and Dylan had gone up and we were going to bed. And all of a sudden, it was like I just felt this presence like in the room of like, whoa, what is that? Like, and it was hard to like describe, but it was like something's in there. And Dylan in this season, okay, share this, but I won't give away too much of. During this season, he was really deep in a lot of like rejection of religion, of like, I don't even know if I believe in anything religious, anything spiritual. I'm just like, I don't even know.
Totally get that though.
But even he was like, what is that? Like, I feel something. And I was like, I know, right? Like, what is that? And I got like a sense though, like, oh, this isn't something harmful or dark. And I have had experiences where I felt that and it didn't feel like that. And then I was like, I don't know, but I think it's okay. Like, I don't think it's anything scary or harmful. So Dylan went to sleep. I don't know how he went to sleep. He was just like rolled over and was fine. And then it was such an interesting experience where I was like communicating with this thing through my mind, and it was using very different language. Like, it wasn't me making stuff up or talking to myself, which again, you kind of just have to believe what I say, right? Or don't. Yeah. Like, you could justify or say it's lots of different things. But anyway, and it identified itself as Gabriel, the angel. And I was like, that's weird. And in this point, I was still kind of like, I definitely believe there's a God and there's spiritual stuff, but I don't know how much of like the Bible and religion part I believe. Yeah. So I was like, just surprised by that. Like, that's weird. And then in my mind, I saw like this 3D model of, if you were to, well, I don't know if you guys would know, you would maybe know, if you go into like an OBGYN's office, they usually have like, or well, you're a nurse. They have like diagrams of like a pregnant woman, like what that looks like. Ones. Yeah, exactly. So I got that image in my mind, and it was like this hand that went over, and like a baby showed up, and then the hand went over again, and another baby showed up, and then the hand went over again, and another baby showed up. And Gabriel, that's how he identified himself. He said, you're going to have kids, like that's part of the purpose and the plan. And the first one you're going to have is going to be very gentle and quiet, and like the same kind of gentleness that you approach Dylan with is what she'll need. And then you'll have a second one who's going to be a boy, and he's going to be like your Spitfire, like you guys aren't going to know what to do with him kind of sense, where he's not going to be like either one of you, and then he's going to come next. And then you'll have your third one, who's going to be more like you talking to me, who's going to just love people and love being just very relational. And then in my mind, I was like, okay, 3 and 3, that makes sense with like the diagram. Mm-hmm. But then he said, but then you'll have a fourth, and she'll be named Joy, and that's who's going to like round it out. And it's like, that experience was so impactful because it was like so weird and like not something like I would ever want to make up, especially because it's about something that's like so sensitive and personal to me and other people who've struggled with infertility. But I think that's just one of those experiences where I'm like, okay, there is something. I don't know all the language for it, and I don't know what's out there. And I don't even know if it'll happen for sure, but it was just such an impactful thing, and how that leads to bariatric surgery. I don't know why, but just after bariatric surgery, that's when I started experiencing more things like that. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, what? I always forget that part.
Dylan out of left field now says that your dad was downstairs.
See, this is why I keep him around. He's so helpful with stuff like that.
This is why. No other reason. Just this one.
Just to help me finish my stories. Yeah, so the weird part about that was the next day, my dad and his girlfriend's name is Stacia, and they were like, or Stacia was the one that said, it was so weird last night. I didn't say anything about anything that happened. She's like, it was so weird last night. I could have sworn, or she's like, your dad was on the couch asleep, which is like his natural habitat. That's usually what he does. Yeah. And she was like, I was watching TV and I could have sworn Dylan was downstairs. Like I thought he had come down to get water. She's like, so I kind of saw him, who I thought was him, in the corner of my eye. And then I looked back at the TV, but then she's like, I noticed it seemed taller than him. So she's like, it made me do a second look. And then when I did that, it like exited out through the door. And so I was like,
is that the angel Gabriel?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, but I just thought that was interesting and kind of another interesting element.